No, I got it. I'm just gonna set my phone down.
You got
Hi, welcome to Sibling Rivalries, live from Orville and Maryland.
it?
Is that
That
how you're
was
supposed
super
to do that?
creepy, John. Okay, seriously.
Okay,
Seriously, that voice with your background is creepy. Like,
it's beautiful though. So,
it is. No, I love it.
hello everybody. I'm gonna do the welcome while my sister Jessica fusses with her hair because she's got to make sure that she's like courtroom ready. Um, anyway, so welcome to the Sibling Rivalries Vlogcast episode 2, where my sister and I, Jessica Miller,
Hi.
and me, John Nelson, we talk about stuff. And what was the fancy word that you used? That we juxtapose our different beliefs and opinions? Yay! I
This
used a
is
big word.
a vlogcast full of
Vlogcast.
juxtaposition.
Yeah, thanks, Derek, for helping us understand how the internet works.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently that's a thing. I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't either. But then again, I guess we're older now. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about college education because we're both parents and we both have gone about getting our educations in completely different ways. Um, and we have different insights into how kids should get their educations. For example, my wife and I, we homeschool our kids most of the time. They also do some in-class extracurriculars and things, but as opposed to Jessica, who sends her kids off to school every day.
Oh, I do. I
Yeah.
don't even slow down. I just let them tuck and roll and jump out of the car, too.
Get out of the car! Go, 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 go! Yeah, I really love this year's first day of school picture. Like, wait, we have to
I,
do this. Get a piece of
I
paper,
know.
right first day of school. Sharpie.
I know some moms are super Pinteresty. I didn't even have a printer that was working this week, and so they got Sharpied first day of school.
That's how that works. Sharpies.
Well, last year I put the wrong date, so there's that too. Wrong first day of school date on the pictures. I'm not good at bombing sometimes.
Is it the wrong year or just the wrong day of the month?
It was the wrong day, wrong year, wrong grade.
Oh no.
No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't that bad. So,
Okay. So we're gonna talk about college. So we
okay.
have some very, very different beliefs about college. Um,
So how do you want to start?
yeah,
Do you
why
want to
don't
start by talking about your college experience?
well, no,
Like your
as the oldest sibling, I think you should start by talking about your college experience because I think it helped define my college experience
I'm the oldest girl. I'm the oldest girl.
and the oldest sibling.
Whatever. Okay, so my college experience, I knew, and it's funny because it's very much like Maisie. I knew like immediately, as soon as I could formulate a thought that I was going to college, right? Like that was a thing. Like I was going to go to college. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't even know where to go to college. I just knew I wanted to get out of the house, get a checking account, and go get my higher education. So I ended up going to Chico
Get a
State.
checking account with something in it.
Oh, it had money. It had like $200 in grant money.
Nice.
So, um, so I went to Chico State. It was our local state school that's here in Orville. My first year, I commuted. I lived at home and commuted. Joined my sorority, Zeta Tau Alpha, second year, and lived in Chico on the third and fourth years of college. Um,
What did you study?
I I studied liberal arts because when I went to freshman orientation, the girl that was leading us around was like, "Oh, we have this specialized program for elementary teachers, and you literally just check the boxes off all the classes." And I'm like, "Ooh, check the boxes off? I can totally do that." So I did liberal arts, and then I minored in music, and so I did that in 4 years. And my senior year of college, I got into a classroom of sixth graders, and they literally ate me alive. It was the worst experience of my life, and I realized that I did not want to be a teacher, but I was graduating, in like 3 months. So I was done. I panicked. Super panicked. I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to graduate and I'll figure it out from there. So
Yeah.
I went back to Chico State for a year. I thought I would get my master's in English. I thought maybe higher teaching at like college level would be better, but at that point it just didn't really fit. And so I was like, oh, I'll just take a year off and figure out what I want to do. And then 2 months later, I was signing up for law school. I applied for McGeorge because it was in Sacramento. It's a good school. I didn't realize that you were supposed to apply for a lot of law schools, but I just applied to McGeorge and I got in. And so I went to University of the Pacific, got my law degree. Jason and I were married. We decided to start a family during law school. So we literally timed Miles's birth in the 6 weeks. Like, I don't know how we did that, but we timed it so he was born 6 weeks before school started. So I had.
You had a liberal arts degree, but you don't know how you timed like the birth of your like.
I told him he had a 1 month window. We have a 1 month window.
It's basically math.
I got pregnant though, like the actual like people try for years, and we actually just got really lucky with that.
Oh.
So, had Miles between my first and second year of law school. We moved back to Oroville, and so I commuted from Oroville to Sacramento, which is about an hour and a half, 3 nights a week, and did night school while dealing with a baby, which was difficult. But we had a lot of help. We had mom and dad. We had what?
Dealing with a baby.
Dealing with a baby. He was a cute baby. Yeah, so that's it. So that's my basic college education. And then, of course, So what did you do?
I like how you're like, I got into law school, MBD. No big deal. Like, I didn't know you were supposed to apply to lots of them. I could have applied for Harvard. No big deal.
If I would have freaking known, I might have. But, this is the one thing I knew I wasn't going to go to was BYU because I didn't want to get married. So I actively resisted going to BYU.
But you still got married.
I got married after I graduated. That was the plan. Graduate from college and then get married. And so that's what I did.
It worked out. Okay.
It worked out.
My journey through education was totally different. Different results.
Are you going to tell us?
Yeah. So I too graduated from high school and went directly to college. Failed out my first semester. Well, I don't know if I failed. I mean, I failed all my classes, but I basically just stopped going. College was not for me. It was not working out. I went to what is now BYU Idaho, but back then it was Rick's. It's a community college, right? Owned by a church, famous church. And then I came back from that and was like, oh man, I got to get a job. I got to find something to do. So I joined the Air Force. Like, that's a totally different story. I'll tell that story some other time. But I joined the Air Force and I went off to my first technical training, which is actually junior college. Didn't know that. Tricky Air Force send me to college. Mm-hmm. So I went to basic training, which had there's some college credit from that. And then I went to my first technical training, which was a fundamental electronics course, which was surprisingly a lot of math for somebody who didn't do well in math in high school. And then I went on to do an avionics apprenticeship, basically, where I learned how to fix radios and radar and a bunch of other stuff on airplanes. And that was basically it for school until 2006. I had cross-trained into law enforcement, and surprise, surprise, the Air Force sent me back to community college for that. And I got, it was actually a federal academy. I went to the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, got some college credits from that. Then I went on to our basic academy, got some more college credits from that. And then I ended up with all these college credits that didn't work out to any type of degree. I had a bunch of certifications and different things, Turns out I just needed to take 2 classes. I needed to take a math class. Surprise, surprise. Math keeps coming up. Weird. And I had to take a speech class. So the Air Force has a program where you could test, where they pay for what's called a Dante's exam, where you basically test out of a college class. So I took a test for my speech class and passed my speech class because I could talk to a wall. It's just I have a gift of gab, son of a t-shirt salesman, right? So I talked my way through this class literally into a tape recorder. For you kids, a tape recorder is a small little box that used to have a magnetic tape that would spin around and it would record your voice, and then I had to mail that.
You mailed it?
Yeah. And I got some college credits for that.
You're just like picking them up on the way, like 3 credits here, 2 credits
walking
here.
through an orchard stealing peaches, right? Which, if you're from Northern California, you know what I'm talking about. So
that's a crime. Don't do it.
Wow.
Okay, so
I object. So anyway, so I get through that, and then so I have my associate's degrees, 2 of them, one in police science and one in avionics science. And I started getting into a different type of work and into intelligence work, and then I realized that I needed some more education and training, and I went to online school with the American Military University. It's also called the American Public University because it was the only school at the time that offered a degree in intelligence analysis. So I did an online degree studying intelligence analysis and counterintelligence and counterterrorism, which was the type of work that I was doing, which opened up a lot of doors for me to go on to get my master's degree from the National Intelligence University, which is a federally funded master's program. It's condensed. It's a 2-year program that we did from like first class to thesis in about 8-9 months, something like that. So it was fun. It was hard. But
didn't you get to go into the Pentagon, search? That's the coolest thing. Okay, no big deal. Yeah. No big deal.
No big deal. Like, it's just like the Pentagon and stuff.
I just went to the Pentagon to do my research for my thesis.
Yeah, well, if you ever go to Washington, D.C., I mean, everybody goes to the Pentagon.
Do I get access to the archive so that I can write a thesis? Oh, see that. No. That's the cool part.
So yeah, that was the other thing is luckily I'd done online school, right? So I'd done a lot of writing to get through. I think the academic challenge of online school was that everything had to be written. Everything had to be written. So when it came time to write my master's thesis, I wrote a couple 100 pages over the course of my research period and was like, I'm done. That was pretty cool.
Yep.
So that was that. And then, so the best part of my education is it was free.
Yeah. That's
good. It was my full-time job to go to school at some points, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it was very tailored and very specific to the things that I was doing. Like, I had no idea what I was going to do when I joined the Air Force, and they made me a mechanic, an avionics mechanic, technician. And that was cool. The first thing they taught me how to do was learn, right? Yeah. Which I did not get from high school or from my attempt at college. I was not a very good learner until I joined the Air Force.
I don't think you were interested. I think you were
not. No, I just wasn't. It took me a long time to find anything I was interested in. 2005, to be exact. So I graduated high school in 97, and it took a few years before I figured out what I was happy doing. Yeah. And now that's what I do. I'm a business intelligence analysis.
Yep, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Pretty cool. I like that you got to do it without saddling yourself with a bunch of student loan debt too, because I was lucky. I got through undergrad on grants because our family was poor, and then there was 3 kids still at home, so I got college paid for through grants. And
you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for
welcome.
that.
You're welcome for needing to eat.
So I also worked 2 part-time jobs.
What was the name of that restaurant?
Cassidy's Family Restaurant.
Cassidy's.
The 99-cent breakfast. I worked at Mike's Mobile Windshield as a telemarketer.
Which paid dividends because that, like Jason worked at Mike's Mobile Windshield, and I just had one of your connections from Mike's Mobile Windshield replace my windshield.
No. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. That was a crappy job though. Oh my God. That was a crappy job. But anyway, I was able to get through undergrad without any loan debt. Law school's a different story. I'm still paying off law school.
Yeah.
I have one more loan and then I'll be done. That should be, I don't even know. I have another 10 years on that loan. And it's at 2% interest, so we just let it ride. Because if I die before we pay it off, it goes away.
Suckers. It doesn't transfer to miles.
Nope, doesn't transfer to miles.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Like make a minimum $5 a month payment.
Yeah. So kids, let's talk about kids because I know for me,
Oh yeah.
like for me, Miles and Maisie, we have told them like college is not optional. You go to college, and it's not because I want you to pick what you're doing for the rest of your life when you're in college. I see it as an extension of high school. That's where you learn social skills. That's where you learn how to navigate adulthood in a way that's a little more safe than when you're out on the streets.
Yeah, that's what a California liberal arts degree will get you.
Yep. And then I also want them, I want them to experience higher education. I think that's important. Yeah. And, Maisie is a lot like me. She's already picked out where she wants to go to college, what she's going to do afterwards, where she's going to travel. Like she writes about that in her journal and she's counting the days till she can get out of this house. Miles I know, right? I thought Miles had a plan, but I feel like we're in transition right now. He's really, as a junior this year, trying to think about it in a concrete way. So, we'll see. I know he's going to go to college, but he's still trying to figure out like what he wants that to be.
Yeah. Well, and he's got a parachute plan. He could just come live with me. So that's fine.
That's fine. Whatever. But he'll be going to college out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sure. I mean, he's got to do what his parents say until he's 18.
Until he's 32.
Yeah, my perspective is totally different because I want my kids to know all of those things about how to navigate their life before they go to college. Mm-hmm. Not that I like they're not learning it from high school, right?
Yeah.
My kids don't go to high school; they're homeschooled. So
high school doesn't really teach them that anyway.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons why we homeschool. Because they get the curriculum that they need and they get life skills.
Then they should just go to college then.
No. Because here's where we're different. This is the difference. Like college isn't mandatory unless you have a certain job that you want to do that requires it, right? Yeah. But the only thing that's mandatory from my perspective is have a plan. Like have some kind of goal and let's work towards that goal. So kind of breaking it down like you did, my oldest daughter, Megan, she's an artist, right? And not just like an artist, like she is good at art, but she's also a sandwich artist. She has worked at Subway. She's going to hate me for that. An
artist in every sense of the word.
In every sense of the word. She even has a T-shirt that says rap artist, right? But yeah, she is really into her art. She runs her own YouTube channel and her Facebook page, and she's got a Patreon site where she's got a couple patrons that donate to her cause, I guess, of becoming an artist.
She's been commissioned.
Yeah, she's been commissioned. She's doing
cool.
Her most recent thing is she's designing coins for military units, which is really sweet.
So cool. So cool.
She did one for like an alien themed Area 51 one. It's pretty cool.
She should sell that to the masses.
Huh? Yeah.
We should sell that to the masses, right?
She's working on it. And then
could you imagine if they brought them to the raid and then they tried to trade them with the military?
Oh, they'd love it. They'd love it.
Oh man, we need to jump on that now. I'm writing that down.
Hashtag copyrighted, trademarked.
Hey, yeah. Don't steal our idea, people.
Yeah. Or just give us a commission. I don't care.
Yeah, actually, just like our page and we'll be good.
Yeah. Um, okay, so her plan is she's a senior this year. She's going to be 18 next month. Um, when she gets done with high school or her homeschool journey through high school, she's going to take a gap year and she's going to go study tattooing
Ah, this is cool.
because she has been she knows that she has to if you're an artist who doesn't make money off your art, your hobby is art,
Yep.
right? If you're making money off your art, you're an artist. You're making money. You're making a living off your art. So that's Megan. Megan's going to be working on that. She's also writing a web comic and doing some other stuff. It's pretty awesome stuff. Jeremiah is interested in engineering and he's getting into makers and STEM type stuff. He wants to program video games. He's still figuring it out, still figuring out what he wants to do, but we're giving him the room to kind of stretch. He also studies jujitsu, which is pretty cool because he's like a warrior monk, right?
Yeah.
Got a wicked rear naked choke. And then Ellie, our youngest, recently decided that she wants to work for the National Oceanic Association, NOAA. She wants to be a research scientist and study the oceans. So that kid's going to need some college.
He's gonna need some
Right.
college.
Yeah. So, but again, like, if that's her plan, that's what she wants to do, guess who pays for that college? She does.
I know. That's how
She wants to
Jason
figure out how
and
to
I-
do that college. She
So
does.
Jason and I are this. We agree with you on that because Jason, the only child, he was handed Chico State on a silver platter by his parents. They paid for everything,
Oh,
and
wow.
he squandered that. His second year, he got kicked out of school.
Yeah, for buying new wine coolers.
Yeah, for buying new wine. Seriously, dude. Hey, do you think you could buy me some wine coolers? No, but I'll buy you some tequila.
How
You
about some
remember that?
Zima? Can I get some Zimas?
Oh man. Anyway, he talks about that being one of his biggest regrets was having that opportunity of a free education and just squandering it.
Yeah.
So
Good
that's,
stuff.
I mean, he's working on his education right now. He got his AA last year, and he's actually in online classes right now for his BS. He'll have it in probably 2 years.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's a long way round. So, but anyway, student loans, like I feel like the kids have to have ownership in the process, or they're not going to appreciate what they're getting.
Yeah,
That's
you got to fill out those forms, write those grants.
Mhm.
In my case, like my tuition assistance was paid for. My tuition was paid for by the Air Force,
Mhm. So
right?
you worked it
Through
off.
our tuition assistance program, which was pretty legit.
Yeah.
But you have to. I mean, you have to earn it. Like
Yep.
you have to go to work, and then your supervisor has to approve it. And if you're not cutting it at work, they don't approve your tuition assistance. So
Yeah.
it's like you did study and work. I did work study.
Yeah, that's
So
probably
it's
true.
helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's a good way to figure out how to balance your life, though.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I knew when I left Orville that I didn't want to be a mechanic and I didn't want to work in fast food. Which is weird because my first assignment in the Air Force, I was at Dover Air Force Base and I was an aircraft mechanic and I was working at an Air Force air show flipping hamburgers on a flight line. I was like, what did I get myself into?
did you say this is exactly what I didn't want?
This isn't what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. So how do your kids react to that, like that, those expectations? Do they give you pushback on that at all, or?
Not really, because it's just something that we talk about all the time. It's an inevitable, right?
Mhm.
Megan and I have a lot of banter back and forth about it, but
Mhm.
it may have been unhealthy at one point where I was like, you got to get a plan. You got to get out of the house when you're 18. And then Anna's like, well, you got to stop talking to your daughter like that. She thinks she really has to move out when she's 18.
She's having anxiety attacks.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, hey, look, you'll be okay. We're not going to kick you out. Like, I'm not going to buy you luggage for
I
your
was gonna
18.
say you should buy her luggage.
Yeah, I know. Mom's going to be like, it was nice luggage, though. I just threw that luggage away. Yeah, I used it on my last Air Force move.
Oh, that's fun. Um, I tell the kids that I have to keep them alive until they're 18, and then they're on their own.
I have to feed you, and that doesn't even mean 3 times a day.
hmm I
I
have
have
to
to feed
feed
you.
you. I have to get you to school. I have to make sure your basic needs are met. I'm not responsible for your happiness. Like, that's
Yeah,
you. I do things that make you, that I want you to enjoy, but like, I'm not responsible for your happiness. So,
yeah. The stoic in me agrees with that.
hmm yeah.
Only you can find your happiness, right?
Yeah. But that's a hard concept when you hear your mom like, I don't have to make you happy.
Yeah,
Go mope in the bedroom.
yeah.
That's
Your attitude is not helping me be happy.
yeah. In fact, you're
Is that
making
Miles?
me
Did he
happy
just
right now.
walk in there?
He just walked in.
Hi,
We're
Miles.
talking about school. Did you have anything you want to add?
No, is there anything you want me
You can come stand over here.
to? Oh, it's all right.
No, you have to be on camera because we're live, and
Oh,
so
you're
people.
live? I didn't.
Yeah, so come look here.
Hello.
There's
That
my
looks so
junior.
good.
What do
Hey.
you think about the expectation of going to college right out of high school?
It's pretty big because
hmm
like literally, it's everyone wants you to go to college. It's like, oh, you have to go to college. That's just like the regular, you know.
hmm
Everyone. I just want you to come live with me and hang out, man.
Sounds fun, but like, I don't know.
What
But,
would
Take a
what
gap
would
year and come live
baby
with your uncle.
what
Huh?
would baby Keanu do?
Um, I don't know. The last time I saw Keanu, though, he was like move, shoot, communicate, learning how to be John Wick. So maybe we could go do that for a while.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Everyone calls me Keanu at school now. It's like I don't know how it got to there.
You say everybody calls you Keanu at school, but that doesn't necessarily mean
You
everybody's
have to
doing
come
it.
down. We can only see your stripes.
I'm not kidding. People are like, oh, you look like Keanu Reeves. And I'm like, oh, I don't know how I
He
got
said,
over
"Whoa, whoa, whoa."
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Have fun.
we'll keep talking about you.
I know.
Bye,
Yeah, it's a
Miles.
lot of pressure. I think it's a lot of pressure when you don't know what you want to do. Like Maisie's
Yeah.
very much like me. Like she knows what she wants to do. Miles has a little bit of Jason,
which one
like
is
the
it?
I'm not sure. So
Which dream though? She has like 9 of them.
she has a lot of dreams.
Being in Paris.
There is nothing wrong with having big dreams.
Paris
No.
is nice.
Yeah, I haven't
like
been there.
Paris. Yeah,
So
it's great. It's a fun city.
yeah. Okay, so let's talk about how you continue your education now, and what does that mean to you?
Oh, how do I like? What do I do to learn now?
What does that
I
look like
use
now?
so I take courses through like LinkedIn Learning that interest me, and I do the Great Courses Plus. I listen. I watch their like whatever series I have like in the queue for my own personal edification. I guess I've done art classes and studied mythology and philosophy, and I'm mostly going through like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Just things that I find interesting now.
hmm
Uh, I don't really want to go back to school, but I have kind of toyed around with the idea. I think it's really funny how when I got done with my associates, I was like, I'm done. I'm never doing it again. And then when I was done with my bachelor's, I'm done. I'm never doing it again. And then my master's, I'm done. I'm definitely never doing it again. And now I'm like, I could write a dissertation. I got a lot to say about stuff.
I could get that PhD.
Yeah, but I really think that everything that you want to know, it's available.
Oh no,
Through
that's
the
true.
internet.
That's
And
absolutely
then,
true.
and then my favorite thing, like, look, I really suck at fishing, right? I enjoy fishing. I really suck at it. But my friend Ben is great at fishing. So what do? I go hang out with Ben and I learn how to fish. It's a
That's awesome.
win-win. I get to hang out with Ben and I get to learn how to fish,
Mm.
which is what I did today, which is why I'm so sunburned because I
You
was
are
out.
pretty red. You're a red here, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's
cool.
it. What do you do to continue?
Well, I
I mean,
have.
you have requirements, right? You
I'm
have to do.
required. Yeah, so I have for my job, I'm required to do a minimum amount of hours. Luckily, I work at an office that pays for that. So probably twice a year, I go to some kind of conference where I'm getting my MCLE, and then
What's MCLE? That sounds like a crazy military
it's continuing legal education. Is
acronym.
basically
No,
what it is.
no big deal. No big deal.
Oh, stop it. So,
Yeah. I'm a lawyer.
um,
No big deal.
and then I don't know. Most of my learning has to do right now either books or ballet. Like I'm really working on that.
Oh,
And then piano is kind of a self-taught thing, and that's kind of taken a back burn. But for a while there, I was like actively doing some courses to kind of get back what I've lost. And I'd like to, they actually at Juilliard, they have an online semester where you can learn five pieces and you like, it's like an online school, but you have one-on-one with a teacher like this. And I really want to do that.
Juilliard.
Yeah, I
Right.
really want to do that.
Like
Yes.
no big deal. I just go to Juilliard.
Yes, I'm dying. I am dying to take a class at Juilliard.
That'd be
Like,
fun.
how
Well,
legit would that be?
I would love for that to be the only school that you applied to and that you got into.
It will because it's an online course and they take anybody. So shh.
Oh, that works. Yeah, that's a good deal.
So then people will come over and I'll be like, let me play the repertoire I learned at Juilliard.
Oh my gosh.
And then I'll get my fancy sparkly water and I'll drink it with my pinky up.
Yeah. Actually, my name is Jessica Miller Esquire.
No, Esquire.
Esquire.
Bougie.
Yeah. I think constant learning. Like there's a ton of there. I'm a big. I've bought into it. I've drank the Kool-Aid that you got to keep learning. Somebody once asked me if I wanted to keep a job, and I was like, or stay in a military assignment. I was like, no, it's like a shark tank. Like I'm like a shark. You got to keep swimming or you die. Right? You got to keep moving. If you don't keep moving, you're just going to get stagnant and then get bored, and then next thing you know, you're just sitting on your porch, which sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, you're doing that somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, I have been on a bit of a vacation. But,
Yeah. So one of the things I picked up when we were growing up, and Miles still does it, is we get knowledge wherever we go. Right?
That's a good one.
Yeah. So and only in recent years have I slowed down a little when we were on vacation. But like when we were in Japan, that was like typical vacation for us where we were just going. Like, see everything, learn as much as you can, try to get a little taste of the culture, and take all the brochures.
Everything, get the knowledge. Because it's not learn something, it's literally get a brochure because it's proof that you have knowledge. No, that's totally mom and dad did that to us.
Yeah, mom and dad did that to us.
That's their thing. That's their thing is they made us get knowledge. So we do that to our kids. Like we were driving through, I think it was Oregon, Washington border area, driving through the Lewis and Clark National Park region. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to go to Lewis and Clark National Park really bad, but we were like in this time crunch. And so we're driving along and I saw this sign. It said Lewis and Clark dismal niche.
I saw that.
We're doing it. Like pull over. I like 31-foot RV, cranked the wheel, pulled in. I was like, everybody out, get some knowledge. So we all read the sign about Lewis and Clark stay at the dismal niche. And no, I mean, it's fun. It's fun for our family now. Because the worst case scenario is we could be at the dismal niche.
Yeah, it's true.
And then we do the same thing when we're camping and stuff. It's like if you leave camp, you got to come back with something useful, and it can be knowledge.
Yeah.
Local
like where the bathrooms are.
Yeah. Or most of the time, it's like some sticks to throw in the fire. But every now and then, I make them come back with knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good way to live. I like it. Yeah. So
get culture, get knowledge,
get some culture. So, okay, that is all I had on my list.
Yeah. Well.
Anything else?
Well, I think we were gonna. Let me pull up my list real fast.
My nose is itching.
My list is super fancy. It's on my phone. Okay, we talked about homeschool. We talked about life skills, social learning. That's a fun one.
Oh, social learning was hard.
Yeah.
Like, homeschool.
Because that's something that we get a lot of questions about, Anna and I, whenever we meet somebody new, and we're like, oh, well, yeah, we don't have to worry about X, Y, and Z because we homeschool. Like the kids are homeschooled. Well, do they have any friends? Like, duh. Yeah, they've got friends.
Yeah.
They've actually got friends all over the planet, which is really cool because they're military kids, right?
Yeah.
But I think I kind of hit on it a little bit, like with my friend Ben and I. Like, I love to learn new things, but it's even more fun when you get to learn new things with people.
Yeah.
Especially when you get to learn from somebody who knows what they're doing. And Ben, that is not me saying you know what you're doing when you're fishing. You just know more than I do. So I reserve the right to make fun of you. And then I'm sure I'll regret saying that later. Anyway. He's like right down I'm at Ben's house right now.
Yeah, I know. So
Uh,
social learning is weird. It's kind of a trial and error, but I think it continues into adulthood. Like
yeah.
you just have to keep
Well,
doing that, like learning how you. And I've actually been reassessing like my courtroom behavior because I find like when I first started as a lawyer, I dressed in boxy pantsuits. I made sure that I sounded like the male attorneys that I was working primarily with. But over the last 4 years, I've transitioned to just being more myself, dressing more
yeah.
feminine. Although there are some tricks that I have to play. I always have to talk about my kids. And then I make sure that I am not coming off super aggressive in front
Yeah.
of
Because there's a lot of judgmental people about. Yeah.
it just comes off.
That's
My assertive voice sounds aggressive, and
yeah.
that's just because it's not a norm. It's not a social norm yet. Like,
Yeah.
and so
Well, it's going to be a while, I think, before
it will
people
be. It will
let
be.
that normalize.
So I do have to play that, and it makes me mad that I have to do that. But I also need to make
Hey,
sure
I
that
play.
this is her. So
I play on my kids all the time. When I was like I wrote my thesis, right, was in countering denial and deception, human capability to detect deception. All the stuff that I wrote about, the most useful trick to get somebody to be honest with me was just to say, you know how I know you're lying to me? Because I have kids. And my kids have lied to me. And so I'm conditioned to know when people are lying to me. And then they're like, oh, I have to be, oh, dad guilt. I have to be honest with this guy. It works.
yeah, yeah.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. Most people have kids, or everybody definitely is a kid. So
Yeah.
people get it.
Some people are
But
just-
there's a lot to be said for group environments for learning even as adults. Like this is one of my favorite things to do is like get people around and sit down and actually have a deep dive conversation about a difficult topic.
yeah.
Or just learning how to talk to each other when you disagree. Like
Yeah,
there's
no,
nothing
that's a
there's
skill that's
nothing
been
wrong with
lost.
disagreeing.
Yeah.
It's actually a pivotal part of the scientific method is disagreeing, is finding dissension and then investigating that dissension.
Yeah,
So,
and see, that's my job. Like, I'm surrounded by people that don't necessarily agree with me, and we have to work to come to resolution. So, like that to me is that's just daily life. And what's funny is that, like, if I'm out in public with individuals that I'm working with, sometimes we talk to each other and we're very intense, right? We're talking like this and we're very animated. Like one time I had a waiter ask if he should come back because he thought fight. And I was like, oh no, we're just passionate about the topic. That's all.
yeah.
There's very little women, like they would sit around and discuss things in a grand way. Like that's kind of been lost.
While they're needle pointing.
Hold on. Let's talk about women's rights.
We shall have the right to vote.
And abolition of alcohol.
Hush. Never again.
We must be temperate.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that's what I've got on my list.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like.
Well, I also had training versus education was another one that I thought we should.
Oh, like
talk
your
about.
vocation. Yeah.
Well, it's not just that, but like what good does education do you if you can't do anything? Like.
Yeah, I definitely know people.
Granted, thinking, the ability to think, is a skill. That is I mean, more people need that skill to think.
Oh, big time.
Like, not even think critically. I would just be happy with thinking. Like A plus B equals C. Like that would be great. Like we don't even have to get in the derivative of A and the derivative of B lead to Z. Like, we don't have to play any of those games. But just the ability to think is great. But also like the ability to do something. Like do something. Like be able to fix a car, be able to fix an engine, be able to write a search warrant.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Be able to what?
Change the oil.
Change the oil, yeah. Be able to fix something in your house.
Balance a checkbook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We sound like old people right now.
We
Kids
are.
these days.
Isn't it funny? Kids these days, they don't even know what a checkbook is. Yeah, you're old. Yeah. Does Miles even have a checkbook?
He's got a debit card.
Yeah, that's not a checkbook.
He's got to check its balance, and it shuts off after a certain amount of time, like if he
Do
uses
they
too much.
like? Do they call it a debit account now, or is it still a checking account?
I don't, what did they call your account? Checking account?
Some high school account. Yeah.
Oh, it's some high school account. I don't know.
Wow. Way to be deflected, Miles.
So
Good
this
job.
is what I think. This is what I think. I think that your educational path is a building block. Like whatever you do, like you're just constantly
I can
building.
agree with that.
Right? And so whether it's college or whether it's taking time off and or going and learning practically, you're just building on your education so that ultimately you are supporting yourself in a way that you're happy with, and you're also a good person doing what you love, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, and
that's
I would also
ultimately-
throw in there that coming from somebody with a liberal arts degree, that sounds great, but
because it is.
but it should also not be a waste of time, effort, and energy, right?
Yeah, the only time,
Just getting the degree for the sake of the degree is kind of bullshit.
yeah, but I don't think that's what my kids will be doing. Like that's not what
But I
it's
think
about.
there's a lot of kids who are. There's a lot of people who
No.
do that.
I think there's a lot
I've
of
run
people
into
that
plenty of
say,
them.
I think there's a lot of parents that say, you will go to school, you will be a lawyer. You will go to school,
Yes.
you will get your CPA degree, whatever that is. I don't even know what that is. Like,
Certified public accountant.
yeah, but what is the major? Accounting?
Business or finance.
Numbers?
Accounting.
So,
Numbers.
numbers. I'm going to get my BS in numbers.
Numbers.
Clearly, I don't do numbers. Yeah. So I think that it's just the way you approach it, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway.
Well, and that's the thing. You have to approach it by thinking about it. Like you can't
Yeah.
just. I think one of the challenges that you faced is that when you first started school, it was a checklist. Like
Oh,
I
yeah,
have
big
to go
time.
to school, and I'm going to get this degree because look, I could check these boxes, and then I have my degree, and then I'll have my job, and then everything will be fine. And wait, I don't want to do this. This isn't what I wanted to do.
No. But it wasn't the end of the world. I mean, I value that education. It was a good education that I got, and it definitely.
I value that you were at Chico State with Jason because that's how I got my ZIMAs and my wine coolers when I was not in college.
When you most definitely weren't in college. Oh, Zimas.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that's all. That's all. It's all well and good. But if I had any one piece of advice for kids or anybody else who's thinking about going to college, it's spend some time talking to not just your parents about it, but find some mentors in the world that you want to be in, the things that are doing the things that you want to be doing with your life, and go talk to them about it. Like Megan wants to be an artist, so we're always encouraging her to talk to our brother-in-law Josh, right?
Yeah.
Because he's so, I mean, he's a phenomenal artist.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a chef in the family, we have a lawyer in the family, we have cops in the family, we have in our extended family, we have all kinds of professionals around, and tradesmen and craftspeople. So there's all these people who do all these amazing things, and all of our kids have that experience as a derivative of our relationships, right?
Yeah.
So there's no way we should be allowing our kids to not monopolize on this huge wealth of relationship power that they have by getting to talk to other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes they just need a kick in the butt to go that way and go talk to them.
Yeah. Because they are kids.
Yeah. And they
So.
need to be kicked in the butt.
Well, this is what I think. I think both your kids and my kids are going to end up just fine, right? Like they're probably going to take a little pass. They're going to be fine.
Yeah, they'll be okay.
They'll be
I
all
mean,
right.
if nothing else, Miles has that great hair. He looks like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. I mean, the hair alone's going to get him like a high-powered job. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even
Whoa.
sure what it's going to be. They're just going to pay him money.
Should we show everyone back at home?
Yes, but you have to look here.
Where? Oh, hey, everyone.
You should have done this.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I made my cameo for today. So.
You should have said San Dimas High School football rocks. All right. I got to go get Maisie from ballet. So.
Yeah, it's time for bed out here. What's going on?
All right. So if you liked this episode and you have anything you want to add to the discussion, make sure that you talk about it this week in our Facebook group. We'd love to hear your opinions on college and furthering your education. That is the most important thing to us, is that you are engaging in the conversation as well, because that's what we're looking for, is engagement with you, our peoples.
Because I'm tired of learning from my sister. I want to talk to other people too.
I'm tired of teaching him everything he knows. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. So, and also, if you wouldn't mind sharing, liking, heading over to YouTube and subscribing to our channel, we would appreciate it. We are brand new to the vlogcast world, and we are. I know it's so hard.
I'm pretty sure that's not a thing, but we got to stick with it because Derek said it's a vlogcast.
Derek
and I like
gave that to me. It's a precious gift from Derek himself. Thank you, Derek. I'm gonna get. He's like our first sponsor. I'm gonna get a shirt that says Derek Rocks, and I'm gonna wear it.
Funny. I'm never gonna live that down.
He's gonna be our first guest. Basically, when Miles has his first child, we're gonna name him Derek. Miles doesn't get to decide.
Oh, that's funny.
Am I laying it on too thick?
Yeah, it's pretty funny though. I like it.
Anyway, make sure you like us. And did I miss any of the things we're supposed to say at the end of it?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, subscribe, share. Ask us questions. If there's a topic that you want to hear us rant and rave about, if you think there's something that we have a different opinion on that you want to see us fight about, that'd be fun too.
Believe me, it's not hard.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff that we disagree on. So. And this was actually pretty cordial because we have gotten pretty heated about this topic before.
Yeah. I think we should just talk about why Miles wasn't allowed to come on the road trip with me this summer.
I can't divulge the fact
why
he couldn't, but there was a very specific reason.
Anyways, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell.
Gotta bring the kids
in. All right. We need to work on this outro. All right.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Have a good night.
Bye.
Love you too. Bye.